So before that you actually get into the meeting, perhaps you're setting the meeting on the telephone, try and gather as much information as you can to help you with your research. When you get to the meeting, you want to understand and make sure you're clear. Why is the client taking time to meet with you today? I mean, you should have a pretty good idea about this. What are some of your client's strategic goals? What are some of the opportunities and threats that is keeping them awake at night? And I know I've used that phrase before, but it's true. If it's something that is not a burning, compelling reason to involve you and engage you, then you're most likely not going to go very far. Ask yourself, how are you going to show your customer that you understand what it is that they're going through, and how are you going to relate to them? What differentiates your organization? How are you distinct versus other organizations? And start thinking about what are some of the possible objections that somebody's going to have. Are they going to object to your price point? Are they going to object to your methodology? Are they going to object to some of your feature capabilities in your solution? What are they going to object to, and how are you going to deal with those objections? How can you turn those objections around and create strategic assets out of those objections? For example, if somebody is going to object on your price point, you can turn that around and say that the prices that you charge are done so in a way so that you can provide the best possible service to them in a highly customized, high-touch manner, as an example. So we took a negative and we turned it around into a positive. I want you to also start to think about the types of questions that you ask in a logical sequence that takes the customer down a certain pathway. And this is really key because you see, if you want to lead somebody down a pathway and you have the right questions that are well organized, they essentially go very willingly down a pathway. And that's where the art of sales comes into play, because now they reach a conclusion that you are a suitable provider to sort out their problems. And quite often asking the right kinds of questions that are questions that you already know ahead of time that they're not likely to have a very strong answer for are the ones that start to bring up the pain and the challenges that they're facing. So when you are working with somebody, ask yourself, or ask them better, what are the top 3 things that they want to achieve right now? What do they want to achieve within the next 6 to 12 months? Basically, where are they headed? What are 3 things that are important to you, and what changes do you want to see happen? Or if you want to use the Dan Sullivan question, you can say, if we were sitting here today, or if we were sitting together, 3 years from now, or 12 months from now, having a cup of coffee, looking back on the year, what would have had to happen for you to say this was a successful year in your line of work? That's a really powerful question, because what you're doing is you are future pacing. You're taking somebody out of the present, moving them into the future, looking back on the year where they're now free to be a little bit more liberal in terms of what's possible, to think a little bit outside of the box. And that gives you the ammunition that you need to be able to articulate how what you do can help them realize that goal 1 year. It also shows that you want to be a trusted advisor to them over a longer period of time. I like 3 years, actually, versus 1 year, but you might break that down into 1 year as well. And then as you pull all of this together, you just want to come back and say, okay, how can I add more value to this prospect? What can I show them in the next meeting that would build more rapport and trust with them, build more of an affinity towards our brand? Because you see, the customer is always asking, is this the right person? Is this the right solution? And is this the right company? And they keep going around and around in their mind, asking those 3 questions. And unless you get the right person with the right company, with the right product, company, and person, you are not going to make the sale. And ultimately, in many cases, particularly in large B2B deals, you are selling to get to the next meeting, which you sell to get to the next meeting, because there are longer sales cycles that you need to go through. So that's where all of this comes together. So what I want you to do is take everything that we've shared so far and start asking yourself, how can you be more effective when you show up to work with a customer in a sales environment? and figure out how you can be more effective in understanding that customer, being able to summarize your customer's goals and requirements in a clear and articulate manner, how you can describe your solution and the benefits it delivers, the real benefits, not just the feature level benefits, but the business level benefits that you deliver that can really show an ROI. And then start to think about what are the next steps to move them down this sales process. And as you do this over and over again, you'll become a whiz at making your sales meetings much more productive for both you and your customer.